Welcome back. We're now doing lesson 6, which is my whole testimony. My whole story is pretty powerful, so I didn't want to end without sharing the whole thing with you. I hope I don't bore you, and I'm just gonna share from my heart, and I hope you're okay with that. I was in when I was 15. It was right after my abortion, very close. I was emotional, suicidal, down, at my lowest of lows, and I said to God, if you are real and you can make something out of my life, here it is, because I surely messed it up. And I'm yours. If that's what it takes, that's what it'll be. And amazingly enough, God heard my prayer and turned my life around. I am married for over 44 years to my husband, who's now a pastor. And I have earned a master's degree in counseling. And I just totally enjoy helping other women or men that have struggled through abortion find the help they need. So God is just supernaturally helping me to become the woman of God He always wanted me to be. And I am just so excited to tell you I have two sons. I have a daughter in heaven, Melissa, and I have a goddaughter, Ariel. And I have now six grandchildren, and I just enjoy life totally now. So I was restored back my joy and my peace. And I just want to explain my whole story one more time to you. And hope you can find freedom in just listening to my story. Again, I was come from a middle class family. I was a straight A student. I was an honor roll student. I graduated with honors. Um, I was very angelic looking, but you know, those girls, they just don't pretend. I just pretended to be something I wasn't. And so at 15, I just started rebelling, and I did what I wanted, and I was looking for love in all the wrong places. And let me just tell you, how many times do we all look for love in the wrong place? And we surely find it, but it isn't always the answer we're looking for. So I found this young guy who was very much interested in me. He was 18, I was 15, and I just thought we had the relationship of relationships. And of course, smoking and drinking and all the things that a normal teenager would do. And within a year, I was pregnant. And there I was, 15, didn't know what to do. Again, my doctor, said it was a blob, wasn't a baby, and just railroaded me into thinking that abortion was the way to go. How would I take care of it? Who would pay for it? There was no other agency out there that would help you raise a baby at this time. And so without resisting anymore, I did what my parents and doctors suggested, and I got this abortion and was told it was the quick fix. No one would ever know, of course. And it wasn't a quick fix. If it was a quick fix, that was the last thing I thought of, that this would be this was going to be a quick fix, but we'll see. So I went to the abortion clinic down in Washington, D.C. I couldn't go to the hospital where I lived because my mother worked there, and heaven forbid if any of her friends would ever see me or know that I was pregnant. So we went into this clinic that was kind of cold and uh, robotic and just not very warm and fuzzy by any means. And there was just us women lined up in a straight line, ready to receive our abortions. And they told us it would, we didn't have to tell anyone, and it could be kept a secret and no one would ever know. And it's you're so young, this would just help you all the way along the ways. But I'm here to tell you it didn't really help. It didn't feel like it helped. So as I left the abortion clinic that day, I felt like a part of my heart was gone. My dad told me on the way home that if I wouldn't have signed, they wouldn't have done it. I sure wish he would have told me in the beginning, because he knew me. He knew I wouldn't have done it. So that started my anger and my unforgiveness towards my dad for him not telling me the truth. And I held him in unforgiveness for over 11 years. I wanted nothing to do with him. And I was so upset and so distraught. I went home and I just laid on the couch and bawled for days. And finally, my dad just said, go to bed. you've hurt us bad enough. Didn't you hurt us bad enough? And, no one ever asked how I felt, what was going on with me. That night, I became extremely suicidal. And that's one of my lowest of lows as well. And so then I knew I had to suck it up and put the happy face on so everyone else could pretend everything was good. And I went back to school, of course, and just told everyone I was having, the monthly thing. And, there was no mention of abortion or baby ever to anyone. And they give you notes to get you out of gym class for a couple of weeks. And that was all there was. So anyway, I proceeded on with my classes, and at my senior year, I became the homecoming queen. And there I stood with a crown on my head, but my heart was screaming, if you only knew what I did, you would have never voted for me. So when times are supposed to be joyous and exciting, they just weren't inside. On the outside, I might have smiled and pretended it was fun, but it wasn't fun on the inside. So I struggled with that. And it took me a good 11 years till I finally found a group of women that had like a support group, and they started sharing their stories. And I thought, hey, that sounds like mine. And I could compare notes that the feelings I was feeling were just uh, real, and that I could put a connection to the abortion with some of my feelings. So I went through a process of healing, and I went through a process of forgiving my dad, and forgiving the people involved, like my mom and the abortion clinic, and et cetera. And I wrote angry letters like we did previous, and all those things. Every little one I did really, really helped my journey. And I finally got married when I was 19, and I I had a baby within 3 years, and this should just be so joyous. And I thought, here I was holding this beautiful baby, and then a nurse calls and says, "Oh, let's take a survey." And I thought, okay. And is this your first baby? I said, sure. She said, well, I see here you had an abortion. Well, I wanted to scream. You're not supposed to know, and no one's supposed to know. So why do you know? So I figured it out. It was all over my medical records. So I sat there with my baby in my arms, crying tears of, I don't know, just bags and bags of emotions about this. So then I had this lovely little baby, and I thought, well, surely God was going to take this baby for the baby I aborted. I had just a warped image of God. It wasn't the kind of God that exists, it's just my image. So anyway, I studied more with these ladies, and I realized one scripture that really, really stuck out was, he forgave my sins as far as the east is from the west. And to this day, I can't tell you how far that is. I can't tell you where this east and west connects, but I just knew he forgave us. And so then I found out that he counted every hair on my head. I'm a hairdresser. I couldn't believe that I was a hairdresser, and I wouldn't count everyone's hair on their head, but the word says that he counts every one of our hairs. So that doesn't sound like the image I had of a loving God. So I learned to love God the way he was supposed to be. And I had a second son, and we continued on. I now help many, many women and some men with their issues of the post-abortion issues. And God just really developed me into the woman he meant me to be. And my husband, I think I mentioned, but in case I didn't, is a pastor. And we've been in ministry over 30 years. I've been doing this for 30 years, helping women be set free and to move on with their life, to find joy and peace. There's joy and peace out there for each one of you. And I'm just here to let you know that 1 out of 4 women have had abortions, and that you don't have to be alone. If you feel like you need more in-depth studies, we have Bible studies we can do with you. I can help you in other areas of your life. Feel free, just like I said in many of the other ones, to email me, reach out by text or call. We're here for you. You do matter. We do care about you, and we just want to help you. And we thank you for taking the time to study out these 6 lessons. And I just say, God bless and take care.